So this is the defense he's currently using. It's something that I recommended. However, I have tried to make a Darien defense myself the past few days on my account. And I have to say, I was giving out incorrect advice when making this defense. When I talked about Darien, I said that it should be really tanky and I didn't really specify in what way. And I think going a high HP Darien is just not a good idea since it just makes it a punk back food. What I will do is not really care about the HP, maybe just have it over 10k and then focus everything else on defense and resistance. So you will go a defense rune or a defense resistance if you can't get 100% resistance and put that in defense. Hey guys, before we start the video, if you guys are interested in getting advice and help from me and other Summoners War players, feel free to join my Discord where the link is in the descriptions below. Also, if you enjoy my content and want to support me, become a Patreon where the link for it is also in the descriptions. I want to say I appreciate all the support and believe me, I really do. Anyways, that was it. Let's get back to the video. Hi guys, this is Juno and welcome back to another Summoners War account review. Today we are on Your Tilted's account. If we look at his record, you will see that his highest record in regular arena was C3 and his world arena is C1. He did tell me that he only has one decent AO and he's not really happy with his AD. So I'm going to try and help him there and give him some recommendations. He also wants to get some input on Siege because that's another part of the game that he wants to improve on. He is doing all the dungeons, there's no point of talking about that. So let's get right into the review and see what we could talk about. First thing we'll do is take a look at his box. Now when we look at his box, you can see that he has 3 Martinas. Sadly, the rune quality, well, not even looking at his rune quality right now, I don't think he would have the rune quality to rune up 3 really nice China Martina Trianas. So I'll just keep these other 2 in the storage and really work on focusing your rune quality on 1 Martina if you do want to run a variant of Martina China in a siege defense, since that is something that you want to improve on. There was something interesting. I mean, while I scroll down, you guys can look at his nat 5s and nat 4s. You can see that he has 3 bales built. I have no clue why you did this because there really isn't any use. I initially thought that maybe you built these other 2 for skill ups, but you 6-starred them and you also awaken them. It'll be really nice if you could tell me in the comment below why you built 3. I am totally confused. You have 3 Shainas. I guess they are going with the 3 Martinas. I'm pretty sure only 1 is runed up. Yeah, the one on Swift, that's actually not that fast. So it kind of tells me about your rune quality. You do have Leo and Tiana, so it's kind of surprising that you're telling me you only have 1 really decent AO when you should have at least 2 since you do have the Leo and you could go with a second turn team. Are you watching my videos? You do have the Artemel as an LD nat 5. It looks like you're not really using him, and that's about it. You do have the Leo Mei, really popular in siege defense these days. So if you want to really improve in siege defense, maybe ask your guild if they're stacking any Liu Mei defenses. In G1, a decent Liu Mei defense is doing really well. Let's take a look at your rune quality and see where I think they're at. So if we take a look at Swift speed, 27 slot 1, that's actually pretty fast. 23, okay, it goes down pretty drastically. Then 24 on slot 3, then 20, 25 on slot 4, another 25 on slot 5, and then a 24, and then a 25 on slot 6. So definitely see that you can make at least 1 fast set, maybe 2, because your secondary runes had like a 23 or 24, so that's decently fast. Not that bad. I think you could reach G1 with this rune quality, with this speed. However, I really wouldn't recommend a speed AD. So let's see how efficient your Violet runes are. 25 and then 23 for Violet slot 1s, 22 slot 3, so that's a pretty weak slot. Then 25 slot 4, a pretty nice crit rate rune, pretty efficient. And then a 21, 26 slot 5, and oh, 2 26s, so that's pretty good. And then finally a 23 slot 6. Slot 6 also looks pretty slow, so I think focusing on DB12 is not a bad idea. Let's go to Will. 24 slot 1, 25 slot 3, 21 slot 4, another slow rune. 19 slot 5, wow, that's definitely the slowest we've seen as the fastest rune. And then a 20 on slot 6. So definitely looks like your Violent and Will runes are the weaker ones compared to your Swift rune. And if I really had to rate between the two, I think Will runes are weaker than your Violent runes. So if you want to improve in any slot drastically right now or quickly, it will be the Will runes. Farm MB12 and then DB12 and then GB12. Obviously during the meantime, in the middle, do your BGR5, solo R5 and get those grinds, because I did see a few runes here and there that are missing grinds. So this is the defense he's currently using. It's something that I recommended. However, I have tried to make a Darien defense myself the past few days on my account, and I have to say I was giving out incorrect advice when making this defense. When I talked about Darien, I said that it should be really tanky, and I didn't really specify in what way. And I think going a high HP Darien is just not a good idea, since it just makes it a punk back food. What I will do is not really care about the HP, maybe just have it over 10k, and then focused everything else on defense and resistance. So you will go a defense rune or a defense resistance if you can't get 100% resistance, and put that in defense. And the reason why is that the higher the defense is on Darien, the skill 3 burst coming in from Pungbek is much weaker, meaning the splash damage is much lower. And what's scary about Pungbek is that the splash damage is strong enough to kill off the other units, especially if your Darien is just high on HP. If that's the case, you'll see Pungbek hitting for 50, 60, 70k in some cases, and the splash damage is 40, 50k, which is definitely enough to clean up. But if you give it really high defense, the splash damage is like 17k, 20k max, because the actual hit only hits for 30, 40k at max. Knowing that and testing it out, I definitely think going a high defense Darien is the way to go, since if you have a defense like this, nobody is coming in with a Lucian or even a Kaki. It's fine if a Kaki comes in, because it is an AoE damage. The Darien's passive will go in for that initial hit, which will allow the remainder 3 units to survive, and it will either win against the offense, or it will stall the offense. Both are a really big win if you're rushing. That's what I would do when I work with the Darien. However, for you, there is a variant unit that you could use, and that is a Molly. And if you have a Molly, I would always use it in defense. And the reason is that it has a passive that everybody hates, right? It gives you that 15% chance to receive a glancing hit. And this is something that rune quality or anything can't control. It is an RNG factor in the game, and RNG is really big during rush. If it happens once, twice every 10 defenses, then it's a win for you, or a very long stall for you, since Molly is extremely annoying. She is great to have in defense. So looking at your Molly right now, I would definitely put her on 100 resistance, so you'll have to either farm better runes, or nope, that's the only thing, you have to farm better runes. And also I'll make her faster. Let's take a look at this artifact. No skill 3 recovery, so that's a loss right there as well. That's a negative there. So you should also focus on artifacts, trying to get that one artifact to give you 20% skill 3 recovery, and with those you'll be perfecting units like Molly. If you have trophies like this, you should work on improving it. It's also a way of playing the game. Yes, one way is to try to just get the best runes and then start picking units that you want to put them on. Another way is that you know you love this unit and you want to just find the best runes and artifacts for that unit. Seeing how Molly is not on a great of a set, just farming violent runes, better nemesis runes, and these artifacts might be a way that you want to play as well. Or you could even take out the Darien and again put back the Triana, because Triana 100 resistance is a very annoying unit as well. But right now the Triana is not on 100 resistance, so maybe you should work on that too. Again, I tried making this defense the past few days, and also I tried Abilio in both builds. One was a 100 resistance build and another one was the non-res build, but pretty fast. And I have to say the 100 res build is much better, because Abilio gets reset pretty damn well with the Zeros, when it doesn't have any resistance, and when that happens, Abilio doesn't do anything. Yes, people say that if he procs 3 times, then he'll have to heal back, but I mean, I didn't see mine procking. I tested mine in like 10 battles, and it just lost 8, 9 times out of those 10 battles. I think one, we had to be really lucky, and he had to proc like 4 or 5 times. I'm not exactly sure, but even at that point, he procced too late, and he was the only one left on the field, and we still lost that as well. Maybe my offense is just good against these type of defenses, but it didn't work. I think I went with the resistance build, which had a better chance of getting the resist. Yes, a lot of people say that if you have 85% plus accuracy, 100 res is nothing. I had obviously a small sample size, but I just saw it working better with 100 res, so I'm just gonna go with what I see. And finally, Cardinal, that I think doesn't have to be on 100 res. I believe he'll be better if he's faster and tankier. So make it Violent Will, make it like plus 100, 120 speed, depends on how tanky you could get him on, but I think the 120 speed mark is optimal, and it's good against Pungbag Tiana teams, since he gets to cycle turns with his skill 2 as well. Yes, he could get reset, but Bison's skill 1 is also a provoke, which is extremely annoying during rush when you bring in a Tiana or Pungbag. If he procs twice and provokes both of them, your chances of losing just went up by 20%. So that's the defense. Now offense. So this is the offense that you said that it's the only decent one, I think. So let's take a look at it. And seeing how fast it is, it looks like you're probably only taking it into pretty slow teams right now. No speed lead. But the thing is, I do think that you have another second turn team that you could use with the Leo. Now this one is pretty gamblish, right? Because you don't have a Delphoid that could wake up people if they get stunned. But if you do get the correct pushback, for example, let's say you go into a Triton defense, it didn't have will, you pushed it back, or let's say that it derped. The problem is, if it doesn't derp and if it's on will, then there's a good chance your offense is gonna fail. So this is more of a fun type of offense. It's not in any way serious. I will tell you the serious variant, but I think it'll be fun since you have 3 bales, so you could use one for arena offense. The Leo goes, pushes back the Stripper, then your Galleon, then everybody in their team moves. They'll no longer have immunity. Then your Galleon will go, defense break, attack buff. Your Robo's E65 will put in the fluff damage with the self-destruct, and he will die. And when he dies, obviously the Baleaguer will get 3 more stacks, and at that point I'm pretty sure he'll have 5 stacks, and then you could go with the full-on nuke. It just sounds correct in theory, so you could try it out. You even can make this a little better and more usable with more reliability. You take out the Leo and you put in an actual Delphoid if you do have her. But if you put the Delphoid here, she does have a lead, a defense lead, I believe, for wind. So you could put her here. You can make your entire team around 90, 100 speed. Not too slow, since if you go into a fast team, they could lap you then. But with 100 speed, you should still be able to take a turn after they move once. The thing is, again, you no longer have somebody pushing back. So you are technically thinking of getting strip stunned or just strip pushback. And this is where the Delphoid comes in. If it's strip stun, the Delphoid can wake everybody up. Rune quality must be a little higher in this team because I think res on the Galleon and the Delphoid is probably optimal, since you know that they're going to be pushing you back, stripping you, and you don't want really all of that landing. You have to also think about the defense you go into, since if there are units that focus certain units here, such as the Bale, and if it dies, you technically have no more damage dealer other than the Robo, which I know won't be enough. Or if you full on saw my second turn team video, you could always go with this Delphoid, obviously, and I'm just gonna recommend some damage dealer. You could use the Cocky here as a damage dealer. You could even use the Linda that you currently have awakened but just not built. So if you go down here, you do have the Linda. Linda's really good against some of the meta defenses. Well, not really meta, but some of the defenses that have some math and Nana these days. That's already 2 that you could build. Definitely more than what you have right now, where you say you could only use 1. Let's take a look at his towers as well. Okay, that's good. Really nice to see that most of the good towers or usable towers are maxed. Finally, let's talk about Siege and see what he can do. I think he is in the G1 guild. Yeah, he's in the G1 guild. He overran this map. Let's take a look at his defenses and how he's doing. So you do have only 5 defenses. I like you have only a few, but the problem is that they're not doing well. So the problem with defense is like this, right? Is that if one of your damage dealers dies, it's over. And a really good counter to this is a Megan, Stella, Mina. If they kill off the Shina, it's really over. You're not getting much done, especially since I know the rune quality of these. A Mina hit will kill this, and then the Stella skill 3 will just run through this, and then there's only going to be the Molly left that's not going to do much. So rather than doing anything like this, I think you should only run really one fast team. Since I know that your Swift sets can only support either 1 or 2 fast teams, I will put this on a Swift set that's much... Oh my goodness, this is way too slow. If you can't get it faster, just take off the wheel, who cares? Just take it off. And then after that, everything will be a tanky team. This team too does not have much of a threat, since if you bring in a Leo here, the Leo counters a Savannah, the main damage dealer, and then everybody else does mediocre damage. If they bring 1 sustain with the Leo, technically you're not killing the Leo, and then you're just gonna get chipped down and lose because you have no heal or anything like that. Tessarion Leo +1 will eat through this defense as well. So what are some good variants? Here, I will put in the Savannah and Kaki. Take out the Abelio, take out the Masha, and do that. And then if you want to go with a second fast team, since you do have 2 fast Swift sets that I think you could build, you do not have a Sierra. Never mind, I thought you had a Sierra. So you don't have a Sierra, we can't do that. I would use your Automel on defense. Yes, there are ways to deal with it too, but it's an LD nat 5. If your guild has an LD defense, you might want to contribute to that. Although it is a fast defense that you can't really do since you don't have a Sierra. The other thing is to look at what your team is doing and then stack this. And we do see a Martina Shine, a Triana defense, but if you compare the rune quality, you'll know why yours isn't doing that well. Let's see how these are doing. Well, we can't really check, but let's take a look at some of these rune qualities. Yeah, see how tanky they are? They're really tanky, 100 res. I love to see that. When you compare yours, your Molly's not even 100 res. It's not that fast. And also only 1's on Violent Will, not that tanky. I will make this a HP slots 4 since the crit damage isn't doing much with this much of a crit rate anyways. And I will just change this either to a Violent set, or you'll have to make this a really fast Swift set. You could also go for Swift Nemesis to counter anything that can outspeed but does not have any control, such as the Rogue, Verd, Garo, but due to the fact that Verd brings in attack bar boost, it is kind of hard to cut. You have to be really fast to do so. I think I'll use the Molly somewhere else and go with a defense like this. He's using the Huadam, and I know that you have the Huadam. I'll do the same thing. I'll take the Molly out, put in the Huadam there, and use that, and the Molly could be added into a Nat 5 defense. You could use a Molly in the Artemel defense, right? Artemel Molly, that's gonna be really tanky with the Artemel lead +1. Another light unit, maybe the Lil May, because Lil May is super annoying these days, but he needs to be skilled up. But just a different variant. You could even go with the Molly Tyrannus +1. Usually the Tessarion goes there, but seeing that you don't have Tessarion, you will need another one, or just build a Tessarion, right? Tessarion is a free unit that you could build, so you'll do that. Also, if you want some recommendations for siege offense, definitely the Tiana Poseidon is a extremely popular one, so I will build that. When I rune units up, I build them based off of teams. It makes it much easier to rune things. They have a purpose, and every unit gets to have a use. Yes, in G3 Siege or G2 and up, people start, rotating runes, especially when they have dupes. I don't do that. I don't have a lot of dupes, so I like to rune everything based off of teams. And knowing that I have so many runes, I should be more picky on my runes, but because I have so much, I do like to try to give them a team in any way. The thing is, many of them, after like the 20th, 30th set, it's going to be much lower in efficiency, so I won't be using them as much, but at least I have more space for more runes. In G1, I think just going with the fast defense could get more wins, so I'll move the Savannah for a better defense, which is here, and make it more Savannah cocky. Definitely more kill potential if you outspeed. But yeah, the easiest thing to do is to look at what your team is doing, and you see one right here, another fast one, right? Swift, Violent, Violent, or it could be Swift, Swift, Violent. You have all these units because I know you have Clara, you have multiple Shinas, and easy to pull a Zenobia, or you probably already have one, so you could build that as our second fast one. And then another easy one that you could build, that you could stack. I'll just see if your rune quality are close to these defenses, these guild members, and if yours seem better, just replace them and you just take their spot. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If there's anything else that you guys would like to know in Summoners War, please put a comment below. If there's anything that I said in today's video that you guys didn't agree on, or if you guys want to say something to this account owner, again, please put that in the comment below and I'll read it, and also the account owner will read it as well. If you watched till this time, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.